Would you look at us in different locations?
We've had enough of each other.
Yep.
It was bound to happen.
I'm so sick of you. I sent you to Brandon. I need you to be at least 3 hours away from me for this show today, for a matchup of the two best teams in the National Hockey League. That's what we had to do here. Welcome to Check-In.
That's right.
Sarah Lesky. Sarah Lesky's on location. We just don't know where that location is.
We're looking forward to today's show. Yes, you know what? We weren't able to be in the same location today. It is full house at Canada Life Center with the monster trucks in town. So in an attempt to not compete with them, we have changed our locations for it as well. But we are very excited to get you all ready for tonight's game between the top two teams in the league. The Winnipeg Jets and the Washington Capitals, they're 1-2, depending on if you're going for points or points percentage. They flip and they flop, but it should be a great one here. We're so excited to see all of you that are here to join us as well, taking part in the conversation. Don't forget to like us, smash that like button if you're watching on X, Facebook, or YouTube.
Matt Hyman, right going for the juggler early. Like,
you know what? It might be 12:30 on a Saturday, but Matt is in fine form with that already.
So is James, though. Look at no matching outfits.
Oh, you know what? Don't you worry. I am sure that when Tuesday rolls around and the Carolina Hurricanes are in town and we're back in our studio, that JT and I will be back in matching outfits. So we decided to take a break from it today. Hi, Debbie. How you doing? Very much looking forward to today's game as well. There's lots of storylines in the game that we will get to over the next 30 minutes as well. Very excited for our busy show as well, because we've got some top-notch guests joining us.
Cool. Do we ever? Let's show everybody who we're going to see here tonight. Sarah?
So Megan Chayka from Stats that is often on TSN, ESPN, you name it. She's all over the place, as well as social media, that will delve into the numbers a little bit more with us. Thank goodness, JT, that we have someone that can do that, because that's not something that you and I naturally excel at. I
got 55% of math.
There you go. And then Mike Vogel from the Washington Capitals.com is going to join us as well to give us the lowdown on what's been happening with the Capitals, because nobody would have anticipated going into this season that Washington would have had the year that they have been having so far, obviously led by the great chase that Alexander Ovechkin is on right now to catch Wayne Gretzky and surpass him for most goals ever scored in the NHL. But just the team as a whole has had a remarkable turnaround from what we've seen over the last couple of years. And so they continue to dominate. So we'll get ready for all of that over this next 30 minutes.
Yeah, this is so exciting. Like, it was hard not to, when the Jets went on this road trip, and yes, you had some marquee matchups with Montreal and Boston. We'll get to the Bruins game in a second, which was another, of course, performance by the Jets. But it was hard not to look to Saturday, which is today, obviously, and the Capitals and the Jets. Like, it's, reading Mitchell Clinton's article today, the preview on WinnipegJets.com, it's the Jets are first in the NHL in goals for, Washington second. Goal differential, Jets are first, Washington second, and then goals against, or best goals against average, Washington is first, and the Jets right behind them in number 2. So, and then Logan Thompson, an incredible story for Washington. Like, what a great story he's been. And then, of course, Connor Hellebuck leading the way. So there's so many matchups tonight that we can look forward to on a Saturday. It's perfect that it's a Saturday for this game. It is well deserving of the top billing as we get closer and closer to the break coming up due to the Four Nations face-off. But what a matchup this is going to be tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So we turned the page on January with this being the beginning new month. I mean, you mentioned we've got the Four Nations face-off break coming up. There's only, after tonight, 2 games left for the Jets. They'll return home. They'll play Carolina on Tuesday, and then they have the New York Islanders in town on Friday. So, and then it's a wrap for a couple of weeks. So key to be able to continue the momentum that they have had. They finished the month of January 9-3-2. They've won their last 5 games. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Their last win coming in Boston. So you mentioned, you and I were very much looking forward to that game, and it turned out to be a 6-2 Jets win.
Yeah, and then what else is new? The power play gets them off to a great start. Mesnikov, Mark Scheifele is now tied with Ilya Kovalchuk for most goals in Jets Thrashers history at 328. So the next goal tonight will put them all alone on number 1. I mean, it's like the way they played, and there was no fireworks at all. Like, I was surprised with the little bite that Boston had on Thursday night. Maybe it was because they were down early didn't want to take too many penalties, which you can't do against the Jets power play because you see 2 more power play goals on Thursday. So it was a biteless Bruins team, which completely surprised me considering what happened back in December. And I know it's been a long time, but I thought maybe an 8-1 loss to the Jets would have them a little upset, and then losing to Buffalo 7-2. I thought there would be a lot more from Boston, but maybe we have to give the Jets more credit because of what they just took Boston out of that game early on. The crowd was not into that game early on like they did in Montreal after the first period. So full credit to Winnipeg on how good they've been during this 5-game win streak, but particularly these last 5 periods that they have played on the road.
Yeah, when you look at the 5 games as a whole, so they've outscored their opponents 23-9 in the process, and those 23 goals have come from 12 different players. And I think that one of the earmarks of this team that we had talked about early on in the season was that they were able to get contributions throughout their 4 lines, and the importance of that. Well, when Adam Lowry was injured in the game in Utah, there was the talk about how they needed to be able to weather the storm without him. It was going to be basically an all hands on deck. Everybody was going to have to find different ways to contribute. And they have. And obviously, I mean, when you look at Adam, you don't look at him necessarily for the goal scoring element, but everybody has stepped up. Everybody has contributed to the success that they've been able to be having. And one of the things that players talked about today, Kyle Connor spoke about that in the room after the morning skate, about everybody playing a role in getting to where they are right now. And very quickly, before we get to the lineup for today, how about Parker Ford?
Yes.
We loved that story of him being able to make his NHL debut in his hometown, this 30 minutes from where he played college, an hour and a half. I shouldn't say hometown, but an hour and a half from where he grew up, and to have all the family there, and then to score. Yeah. I mean, just it couldn't have been written any better than what it was for him, and it was tremendous to see. I love moments like that. I love seeing the sister and the mom, and everybody there, whether it be pounding on the glass or cheering, because just how much of a contribution everybody has had to make in order, and the sacrifices across the board in a family for them to be able to get to that level.
Yeah, and how about them banging on the glass during the first lap, and all the cameras out following him? And Parker said after the game, it's going to be emotional reuniting with his family after the game. Like there's so many great ways, and I believe he's the 8th player in franchise history to score his first NHL goal in his NHL debut. So he is 100% going to be in the lineup tonight as we take a look at said lineup, courtesy. So no changes. No surprise there when you play as well as you did on Thursday. And also, we didn't point out it. Boston did have some pushback a little bit. They tied it up with a shorthanded goal in the third, but Winnipeg went right back to it on that same power play, and Mark Scheifele scores. And then they just took over from there. So there was a little pushback from Boston, but not as much as I expected. So here's your lineup. There is Parker Ford with David Gustafsson and Alex Iafallo. Unfortunately, Gustafsson's impressive 4-game point game streak came to an end, but it doesn't matter. There was a winning effort by the Jets, but again, playing well. Washington lost their last game. They lost in overtime to Ottawa on Thursday. They were on a season-high 5-game road trip, but went 3-1-1 on that trip. A lot of great storylines. This is a very good hockey team that Winnipeg is going up against tonight. So everybody that's in the chat, obviously, and people will be watching tonight as excited as we are.
Absolutely. And this is something, so I always have mixed emotions when people point to historical numbers against teams when it goes back to previous seasons, because it's different seasons, it's different rosters. So I don't think that you can usually take a look at it, but it is of note that the Jets have struggled in Washington. They're winless in their last 11 there. I would argue that they have not had a team that has been, playing at the level that they've been playing at this season so far. So perfect time to turn things around and get back into that win column. But you mentioned that the way that this Washington team has been playing, the success that they've been having, well, it's the same way at home. They are currently on, I believe they've got points in their last 12 home games. They're 9-0-3 in their last 12, and they've found different ways to roll as well, and different contributions from whether it be their blue line or up front. And of course, as much attention is paid to Alexander Ovechkin, certainly the resurgence of Pierre-Luc Dubois, who has found a much better fit in Washington and than he had in LA, has certainly played a key role as well to that. So lots of storylines for us to continue to go through. I think the one edge that the Jets have going into this game, when you look at it, would be in special teams. That is an area in which they have a marked difference over the Capitals, because everything else, as you were pointing, seems to be 1-2 in the vast majority, or they're neck and neck in so many different areas, which is what leads us to be a great game tonight. And it will be Logan Thompson versus Connor Hellebuck, which you look at it, the Capitals have gone with the 2-goalie system this season, which we've seen from a number of teams. It's been much more balanced than what we see in Winnipeg, but certainly the numbers have heavily favored the job that Thompson has done.
Yeah, and these two teams have two players that arguably should be playing for Canada. The Four Nations face-off. The Jets, you could look at Mark Scheifele, who leads all Canadian-born players in the NHL in goals. And Logan Thompson's been an incredible story in goal too. So I mean, you can look at any team in the NHL. There's always going to be somebody on the roster that should be going to Four Nations face-off. But it's and then Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor 2 and 3, I believe, in the NHL in goals scored. It's great. Everything's measuring up for a fantastic performance tonight for the Winnipeg Jets and the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, absolutely. So when the Jets return home from this game, then as I mentioned, they've got 2 games at home before the break. This will be 3 straight against Metropolitan Division teams, which they have not played the Metro often at all. This is just their 6th game this season. They have had success against Metro teams. They're 4-1 so far, but with Washington tonight, then Carolina, then the Islanders. The streak against, or the schedule that continues to put them up against Eastern Conference opponents remains in full effect right now.
Well, we mentioned we have an impressive guest list, and let's just get to the first of our guests tonight, or today, I should say. Megan Chayka joins us now. And Megan, a lot of people are asking about the question of the day, and I'm going to pose this one. Have you ever been to the monster trucks? And if not, when are you going to go next?
I wish. I have no time. My whole life is hockey. So no, I haven't been, but I would love to. It'd be nice.
But you didn't think we were going to ask you that question.
No, but actually, you know what? I just visited an arena, and they have to actually plastic up things when the monster trucks come in. So all of our tech and the things that we use to collect data, it is plastic when that dirt comes in and stuff starts flying.
Oh, I believe it. Jamie and I have had to try to maneuver around in our studio space because of everything that gets changed around and the seats that come out and the boards and everything when the trucks come in. But Megan, let's get right into this game here tonight. I mean, so many of us, whether it be the viewers and the fans of the Jets or beyond, are excited about this game. One of the reasons, of course, that so many people are intrigued at the Washington Capitals this year is the job that Alexander Ovechkin continues to do remarkably. I didn't think going into this season that he would be able to potentially catch and surpass Wayne Gretzky's record, but you look at it now, he's just 19 goals away. How is he doing this?
And I want to know, it's like an elixir of youth that he has, because he's sort of hearkening back to his old scoring ways. There's a few ways too that the Washington Capitals are helping them. One, they're having a great season, right? They're almost, 3.4 goals per game. They've got their offense going, and they added some players this summer that made them really powerful too. So to see them the first in the East, I think is a surprise for a lot of people, but really helping the Ovechkin story. There's only been twice this season that he's had a goal drought for 3 games. So he's been scoring really regularly, a lot in the power play. But only 6 this year, and twice in his entire career has he had less than double digits. So I actually expect his power play scoring to increase this season if that's possible. And I think he'll be deployed fairly often. So those empty net goals, we sort of roll our eyes, but he's going to get there, I believe, this season. He's on that march. The most power play time actually in the NHL right now at over 4 minutes and 30 seconds a game. So he's getting it from that left side. You can see right there that cluster from where he usually scores from. That's typically called Ovechkin's office. And over 180 goals from that mid-range left side area.
My gosh, his consistency is just so shocking to me, and I don't think a lot of people thought this would be achievable this season, like Sarah said. From a Winnipeg Jets perspective, Megan, they are proficient in the one-timers. Can you explain that to our viewers about that?
Yes, and that's actually Ovechkin's very great shot too. So I wanted to bring that in because the Jets actually lead the league this season 52 one-timer goals. I heard you talking earlier about Mark Scheifele having a great season. 15 goals, actually leading the NHL in one-timers. And Velarde, that's been an amazing story this season. I actually had him as one of my Flyers to be over 30 goals this season, and people laughed at me when I said that in October, but it's looking pretty good. He actually has 9 one-timer goals. He's 5th in the league. So an incredible season for him, a career high season, and a lot of excitement around getting that offense going for the Winnipeg Jets, over 3.5 goals per game as well. So scoring a lot on the one-timer. We're going to have a one-timer showdown with Ovechkin and the Winnipeg Jets tonight.
Well, the people that are whether it be at Sportsnet, TSN, ESPN, that are doing the highlight packs will love something like that, because it always makes it easier to be able, and a more exciting highlight pack. Megan, you said that you had heard us talking about Mark Scheifele earlier. I don't know if you also heard us saying that neither one of us excelled in math or or anything like that. You have become one of the faces, very much so, of the statistics, the analytic world as well. And where does this passion for it come from? What is it that you love about it? I'm thrilled that you do, because JT and I, again, do not excel at it. So we love to be able to pick your brains or be able to look at the information that you and your colleagues put out. But what is it that interested you about it?
I think it's just an interesting element to sports. Like, tech hasn't slowed down, stats hasn't slowed down. It's far better for storytelling with actual facts. So even tonight, I'm looking at this game and I'm going to watch for off the rush. Washington's the best in off the rush scoring. The Jets are actually the best in the league of off the rush defense. So for me, who's a bit of a numbers nerd, I like looking at games and breaking it down that way. But I also think it can help simplify the games for people as well, and know really what to focus on. So if you're new to hockey, how do you learn about it? And maybe that's through numbers. So I think it's a great teaching tool, but I also think you can use it to deploy tech and touch audiences in different ways, not just traditional TV.
The best part about it, though, Megan, is the graphics displays, right?
100%.
It's one thing to talk about numbers, but people don't digest things unless you have something to back it up. So did you put those are you responsible for your graphics? Who does that, and who does such a great job with that?
Yeah, from a tech perspective, so my company, Stathletes, we have over 200 employees. So I think sometimes people think analytics are, small behind the scenes, but now they're very large scale companies. We touch a lot of components of hockey in a wide variety of ways, including media. So I'm really passionate about creating those visuals that people, can look up at a bar and understand really quickly without any need for noise or need for a huge explanation. Why does a stat matter, and how do I digest that as a hockey fan, and know more about my favorite teams or players, right? Be able to follow the game and really provide that context. So I try to do that on social media. Your group does it well too, breaking down the Winnipeg Jets. And I just think it's a really nice way to work in sports too. That's a bit more non-traditional.
Love it. Thank you. Megan, you do a great job with it. And you do a good job, as Jamie said, with the graphics elements too, of just making it digestible for people. I'm very visual with it. I love being able to see, I think the graphics that you provided us today too really help as well. So I know you were very busy. I know that you have a lot to do. So the fact that you were willing, and on a Saturday no less, to spend a few minutes with us, we appreciate it so much, Megan.
Well, it's a great matchup, so enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks,
you
Megan.
Too. We look forward to seeing the rest of your content.
Thank you.
Megan Chayka. Yeah, she's busy.
She is.
Yeah, her.
It's never just NHL too. She covers so much with it, and has certainly become one of the most popular people that cover it, and most well known for it. So I do appreciate how digestible it makes it, because as I mentioned, when you start talking about all of the different numbers, sometimes it is very easy for it to go over people's heads, like mine. So for her to be able to display it the way that she does, I think is great. So very much appreciate her time. And we'll have Mike Vogel join us in just a couple minutes to be able to talk about the Capitals as well. Looking forward to this one.
Funny thing you should mention, Mike. Because Mike, not only is his work digestible, he has the best hair in the business. You see what I mean? It's oh my gosh, there's Mike Vogel with his glorious hair. How you doing, Mike?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Very good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm hoping that. Can you hear us, Mike?
You guys are.
Can you hear us, Mike?
It's choppy.
Okay, so
it's hopping in and out on me.
Tell you what, why don't you just pop out and come back in? We'll see if it works a little bit better. Okay, just use the same link.
All right.
Hang in there. Hopefully that works out. It's not us. I'll tell you that right now. I'm hardwired in, so it's my internet should be elite right now. It's not even Wi-Fi.
Looking forward to being able to ask Mike about the excitement as well from the Capitals fans' perspective and how much talk there is in the city about this matchup here tonight. Also, and his perspective on Pierre-Luc Dubois and the resurgence that he has had. Already, when you look, while we wait for Mike to pop back in, you look at he's third on the team right now in points. He's got 4 goals in his last 6 games as well. So he's heating up a bit more, 11 goals, 41 points so far for Dubois. He's spoken about the fit that it is in Washington for him. And he's been one of those key additions that we heard Megan say that they made changes over the offseason. And it's not just about Ovechkin, but the job that they have done in being able to add to that lineup and get more depth. They've also been getting scoring from their blue line, which has been a big addition for them as well. And wouldn't you know, Jamie, that's another area in which the Jets and the Caps are neck and neck as well. The Capitals with the 4th most points from their blue line, the Winnipeg Jets with the 3rd.
Yeah, there's lots of like close stat categories together. And as
absolutely,
promised, Mike Vogel joins us now from the Washington Capitals website, writer as well. Mike, how forward is everyone in that area looking forward to this matchup between the Capitals and the Jets tonight?
Yeah, I think everyone is, Jamie and Sarah. It's been a long road trip for the Caps. They just got back yesterday morning in the wee hours from 12 days, 5 games out on the road. So this one actually, it feels a little bit like it's a continuation of the trip. I don't think we feel like we're quite back on American soil yet. Having the game in Ottawa to end it was a big help because at least we were able to gradually work our way back, and it was good to be back in the Eastern time zone. But yeah, I think we've got a lot of home games here, and to start with this one, I think a lot of people have had this one circled since both of these teams got off to such great starts this season.
A lot of people obviously have it circled, at least from the Winnipeg perspective, that they're wanting to see Alexander Ovechkin and be able to see how, I mean, from their perspective, maybe hoping that the Jets are able to contain him. But Mike, would you have anticipated that Ovi would be able to do what he's done this season, particularly when coming back off of injury the way that he has?
No, Sarah, I don't think so. But I think this actually started about a year ago at this time. Mm-hmm. He started last season with just 8 goals in 43 games, and it looked like it was going to be a real chore, a real struggle for him to get close to the Gretzky mark. And then the last game before the All-Star break last year was on January 27th in Dallas, and he scored a goal to break a drought of 8, 10, 12 games, whatever it was. And then coming out of that break, he popped in the next 5 games as well. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's got a 6-game goal streak. So now if you go back and you look at that date of January 27th, and you look at the entire league since then, he's got 46 goals in 71 games. Ugh. That's 6th in the league. It's tied for 6th. Kyle Connor is one of the guys he's tied with. Kyle Connor's played 17 more games than him over that stretch of time. It's really unfathomable and remarkable what he's been able to do at the age of 39 to score 46 goals in 71 games, 30 of them at even strength too. And the other thing is he hasn't gone more than 3 straight games without scoring at least once during that entire 71 game stretch. It's just staggering. And now everybody's gaming out these last 31 games that the Capitals have. He needs 19. Can he do it this year? Is it going to linger into next year? what are the dates that are likely for him to break the record? How can I get tickets for those games? So it's really put a lot of people on high alert. Fans, media, PR types. Everybody's got their eye on this one.
Yeah, Washington's here in March, so I'm sure that's going to be a hot ticket when the Capitals come to town. Last one for you, Mike. The Capitals added some players in the offseason to bolster their lineup. One of them is a former Jet and Pierre-Luc Dubois. What can you tell us about his resurgence this season?
Yeah, he's been really excellent right from the start, too. And you could just see that he was, even in training camp, you could see that he was energized. He had kind of a new lease on life. And for me, just looking at it from the outside, I thought that the trade that brought him to LA was a little odd, given that they, the assets that they gave up to get him, and the fact they already had guys like Philip Deneau, Anze Kopitar, and then Quint Byfield waiting in the wings. It just seemed like an odd trade for LA to make. And talking to Doobie, it just doesn't seem like he ever really felt like he fit in there. And I would argue that the exact opposite and then some has been true here in Washington. He doesn't have to be the guy. He just needs to kind of blend in. He's played such a strong 200-foot game here. And I can't say enough about how he's meshed with his teams, how well he's played, and how consistent he's been. He hasn't gone more than 3 straight games without picking up a point at any point this season. He was able to match his point total from Los Angeles in 30 fewer games this season. He's actually on pace. His goal scoring isn't to the level that it was during his seasons there, the last couple of seasons, especially in Winnipeg or even the Columbus days, but he is currently on pace to have a career high in points. In the last 28 games, he's got 27 points and a plus 18. And as you mentioned, Sarah, earlier, 4 goals in his last 6 games. I asked him once, probably a couple of months ago, why he doesn't shoot the puck a little more, because I think he's got a wicked shot and a quick release. And he honestly just says it's just more fun setting people up. I just like seeing other people score. I like making plays. So he's a unique guy, and maybe he was misunderstood some places. I would say that the culture here in Washington has been very accepting of him and the other new faces that were brought into Washington this year. And I think that you guys know, having been around the game as long as you both have, how difficult it is to integrate a whole bunch of new faces at the same time and have it go as well as it has for Washington this year. But it says a lot about the character of those 7 players and the personalities and just their easygoing natures that they've all blended and meshed in pretty well here in Washington.
You can certainly see that, Mike, in those videos on Capitals social media about them at the beginning, before they come out in the ice, the chest bumping and all the songs they sing to each other. They have a lot of fun, it looks like, in that dressing room.
They are having fun for sure.
All right, my friend, let's let you go. You got a big game tonight. Thanks so much for taking the time, and looking forward to seeing you guys when you guys get here in March.
We'll see you next month. Thanks for having me.
See you, Mike.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Mike Vogel from WashingtonCapitals.com.
It truly is remarkable what Ovechkin continues to do. He is one of only 2 in NHL history. He joined Gordie Howe as the only other to have at least 20 goal seasons consecutively. It is, I have a soft spot. I think I've said this before, for anybody
for
that is
debuts, for NHL debuts.
Well, I do for that, but also for the elder statesman in the game.
Yeah.
If you were in a game in which we continue to see the players get younger and younger, when you are able to continue to have the success and contributions that the Alexander Ovechkins, when you look at the Marc-Andre Fleury's, I mean, he just, he just finished having his shutout in Montreal, and he's the first to have a shutout as a teenager and the age of 40. I mean, it's remarkable. You continue to see stuff like that. I think it's great to see, because I love being able to see people have success at later stages in their career as well.
It is a big game, and there are 2 more left for the Winnipeg Jets after that, and they don't get any easier, because it is the Carolina Hurricanes here on Tuesday and the red-hot New York Islanders here on Friday. So, but let's first worry about this game tonight, and I can tell Sarah has something else to say, because I can tell by the look on your face. What do you have to say?
Well, I was going to say that with, Carolina as well, you think about the trades that have happened recently with Mikko Rantanen. So be able to see that, but then also the trades just continue to happen. So maybe on Tuesday we can delve into a little bit of some of the trades that we've been seeing, because they continue to be remarkable, which, makes people very nervous at networks because for what's going to happen on trade deadline. But certainly we're seeing it pick up. We wondered, we asked after the Mikko Rantanen trade, do you think that we asked Emily Kaplan, do you think that this is going to get things going? She said, yes, potentially. Well, JT Miller to the Rangers. Today we saw Cody Ceci and Mikael Granlund go to Dallas from San Jose. The Flyers and the Flames made a deal yesterday. So a lot to keep our eye on, I'm sure, as things continue to heat up across the league over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure Jets fans have their eyebrows raised, because Dallas, divisional rival, made a move, and Colorado's made a move. So what else is in store down the road here for the Winnipeg Jets? We will have to have James Duthie on the show before the trade deadline.
We should, yes.
We have to ask him how he's feeling, if he's sweating at this point.
Maybe I'll see whether or not he can come on next week, and we'll see if he can come up and talk a little bit about it.
He'll do it. He owes you a favor.
I don't know if he does, but sure. You know what? That's what I'm going to say to him. Don't you remember?
Yeah.
You owe me. I won't say why. I won't say what.
Throw it out there. He's so busy, he won't even realize, maybe I do owe Sarah a favor. So just confuse him with his busyness.
There you go. It should be a great one tonight for those of you that joined us late. There are no changes to the Winnipeg Jets lineup for tonight. We continue to see the same as what we saw last game. It will be Logan Thompson and Connor Hellebuck in net. Hellebuck 17-2-2. He's allowed 2 in his last 19 starts, or 21 starts, should I say, 2 or fewer goals in 8 of his last 9 games. Logan Thompson, who had just signed the big extension at the end of January, he is on a 12-game point streak. He's 6-0 in his last 6 starts. He has a .83 goals against average over that stretch, and a .969 save percentage, 2 shutouts. So a goaltending battle. We've got the firepower. There are just so many storylines to go along with this. But of course, this is also the top 2 teams in the league, regardless of how you slice it. If you look at points, wins, points percentage. So it should be a fantastic one in Washington tonight. And then looking forward to these 2 teams rematching again in March at Canada Life Centre.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Enjoy the Jets and Capitals, the final game of a 3-game road trip, and Winnipeg will come home for 2 more before the start of the Four Nations face-off break.
So we will see you all on Tuesday at 12:30 Central, where we will talk about not only the game against the Carolina Hurricanes, but we will recap this one too. Looking forward to a great one. Hope to see you all there. Thanks so much for spending some of your Saturday with us and for checking in.
See you later, everybody.